Hi, as in my previous video I already told that I will be discussing one multibagger stock. Well, not one, I will be discussing two, but in this video there will be one stock. So the stock I have picked which got a score of 12 in my multibagger formula out of 14, and as I already told, if you get a score of 11 or more, then that could be a probable multibagger stock. So the stock is IOL Chemicals and Fertilizers Limited. Its current market price is around 164 rupees. Now let's talk about its MD and chairman. The current MD and chairman is Mr. Virendra Gupta. He possesses about over 24 years of experience in chemical and fertilizer industry and has been associated with the company since 2006. They also have a joint MD, Mr. Vijay Garg, who has an experience of around 20 years in chemical and pharmaceutical products. Now, IOL CNP was established in 1986, and as the name suggests that it has two divisions, that is a chemical and pharmaceutical division. Pharmaceutical, that is drug, and it's into API. API is active pharma ingredients. In the drug segment, about 90% of its revenue comes from ibuprofen. Since 90% of the revenue comes from ibuprofen, let's now find what are the uses of ibuprofen drug. That drug is used in fever, treating pain, headache, toothache, back pain, menstrual cycles, and cramps in those periods, or minor injuries. Ibuprofen drug can be used for the people who are above 6 months of age. So it is a widespread age of people who can use it. Now, apart from ibuprofen, it produces other drugs which are used in anti-diabetic, prevent extreme mood swings, treating bad cholesterol and fats, and heart attacks and strokes. Recent times there has been a very much shortage of ibuprofen drug globally also, and due to this, globally the price of ibuprofen rose by 30%, and domestically also it rose by 20%. In India and China, there are three major players of three major manufacturers of ibuprofen. Those are Solara Active Pharma, Granules India, and IOL CNP. Globally, there is one German player named BASF, is one of the largest manufacturer of ibuprofen, but it has been shut down since June 2018 due to some technical problems. And according to the recent update, that manufacturing plant will run at the end of this December 2018. And this BASF produced around 50,000 metric ton of ibuprofen, and there is also an increasing demand for ibuprofen. Apart from this demand supply gap, there is also always a continuous increase in ibuprofen demand, and that gap is filled by IOL CNP, and because of this gap, they have increased the production capacity from 7,200 metric ton to 10,000 metric ton. Its chemical business produces solvents which is used in printing inks, laminates, adhesives, packagings, and plastic films. And also the chemical business, as I told, there are two divisions, chemical and drug. Now chemical produces solvents. Other than that, it produces chlorinated compounds and petrochemicals. And understand that these both components are the basic raw material to produce ibuprofen. So in a way, as you can understand, that it is backward integrated, means to produce the ibuprofen, whatever raw materials it need, it only produces the same. And as far the investment is concerned, it has started Unit 3 and Unit 4 at a total cost of around 27 crores, and this whole money is financed internally. Both Unit 3 and Unit 4 produces drugs other than ibuprofen, which I mentioned before, like which anti-diabetic and heart attack, strokes, and that kind of drugs, which totally contribute 10% of the revenue of the drugs, which constitutes around 54 to 55% of total revenue. Now let's dig into financials. What financials say? Top line grew by 38% in financial year 17-18. PAT margin rose to 2.8% from mere 0.65%. as compared to when we compare it from financial year 16-17. And EBITDA grew from 103.45 crore to 126 crore, while for the first half year of 18-19 compared to half year 17-18, top line grew by a landmark 81%, and PAT margin grew from 1.7% to 6.73%. That is an exponential growth. And EBITDA grew to 81 crore to mere 31 crore during the same half year. Now let's compare segment wise. Half years we'll compare H1 of 18-19 and H1 of 17-18. Chemical segment revenue as a percentage of total revenue has reduced from 44% to 40%, while segment result has turned from 0.58% to 2.11%. This data is for half year, but for a year if we compare, then chemical segment was in a negative. But for this is the first year which they have turned this chemical segment into profit, and when management is very much optimistic and very much positive about it, and it is believing that now chemical segment would not turn into negative and will remain positive. Drug segment share rose from 56% to 60% during the same time, and as told, 90% of this drug segment is from ibuprofen. Drug segment results rose from 14.66% in half year 17-18 to 18.83% in half year 18-19. Due to demand and supply and mismatches, and as the results and as the cases which I have already told you. Cost of material consumed as a percentage of revenue was 70% in financial year 16-17, which got reduced to 63% in financial year 17-18, and which got further reduced for the first half year of this financial year to 60%. As they have a bulletproof, because they are backward integrated, so the raw material prices doesn't affect much. Now, during this time, total borrowings reduced from 425.75 crore in financial year 16-17 to 393.39 crore in financial year 17-18, which further reduced to 340 crore in H1 18-19. Mind it, as I have already told, that in spite doing a capital expenditure, their borrowings have been continuously reducing. That gives an idea that this company is generating continuously huge amount of cash flows. As I have already told, or is logically, as it is indicated that their cash flow from operation must be increasing, and as that does happen, cash flow from operation rose from 17.7 crore to 119.72 crore. 17.7 crore was in financial year 15-16 and 119.72 crore was in financial year 17-18, and free cash flow rose from mere minus 19.67 crore in 15-16 to 69.34 crore in 17-18. Free cash flow is a cash flow which is left out after cash flow from operations and after your investing activities. Now, asset turnover ratio has also increased from 0.89 in financial year 16-17 to 1.20 in financial year 17-18, which further got increased to 1.80 in first half of 18-19. And us to check that what they claim is, are they producing or not, I have just looked into power and fuel cost. As they are producing more, power and fuel cost in other expenses, which is a part of other expenses, must increase, and that got increased from 37.45 crore to 45.66 crore. That just justifies it. And debt service coverage ratio increased from mere 1.088 to 1.486 in financial year 17-18 from 16-17, which further got increased to 3.64 times in the first half year of 18-19. Now, I have also looked into another aspect, like growth in debtors was comparatively less than the growth of revenue. So what does that signify is that company is not increasing their top line based on the credit. Now the company is also naturally hedged, means out of total revenue 40% of their revenue comes from exports, but they do import also, but they are naturally hedged because their exports are very much more, not very much, but yeah, more comfortably more than the imports, so they are naturally hedged, and whenever rupee depreciates, they gain. Now let's talk about the valuation. compared to its peers. As I told, their peers are Solar Active Pharma, Granules India, and our company IOL CNP. So on the basis of EV by EBITDA, and this all valuations are taken for the first half year, means us on the date of September 30th September 2018. So 2 quarter results have been included, and it has been trailing 12 months data has been used, and those valuations are then came out. So EV by EBITDA for Active Pharma, Solara Active Pharma is 8.67, Granules India is 11.134, and our company IOC L&P is mere 5.213. Now sales by market cap ratio for Solara Active Pharma is 1.20, Granules India 0.84, and our company is 1.98. Now P, Solara Active Pharma P is 57, Granules India 15, and our company is just mere 9.23. So in all of these parameters, company seems to be at the current price of around at 30 September the market price was around 121. At that time also it was very much cheap and very much discounted. Now I have given a weighted average to out of these valuations and other forms, I have given a weighted average to some, and then find a not exact, like an approximate share price which could be which could possibly be in coming years. And my target price is around 262 rupees. And apart from that, apart from everything else, I have also mailed to management for certain clarification. There is one component in interest expenses that is not from the borrowings but interest on other things, that is a significant amount, because of the total borrowing cost. That cost contributes around 14.38% in 1718 and 17.41% in 1617. Also, I have also asked it to management. I have mailed them that the research and development expenditure is very low, as low as just 0.50%. Is there any plans, or is there any just the plans to increase the same expenditure? So that's it for the first multibagger stock, and I'll come out with the second multibagger stock, and hope you like it and do share it. Thank you.